beautiful people, welcome to my channel. So today we're doing a long-awaited video. This tutorial will be on a clean, flawless, natural in quotations makeup look. As you can see, my beautiful model does have a bit of discoloration, hyperpigmentation, so her skin isn't picture perfect, although she has beautiful skin. So I'm going to show you how to get a full even canvas. Okay, so we're starting off with the eyebrows first. I am using my MAC eyebrow pencil and I'm using the shade Stud, and I'm just starting off by outlining the bottom of her eyebrow. Now, I have done her makeup quite a few times. One of her eyebrows is more rounded, one of her eyebrows is more arched, and every time I do her makeup I just decide which eyebrow shape I'm going to follow more. So you'll see me going back and forth with her eyebrows, trying to see which brow shape we're going to go with today. So once I have the brows filled in, I'm going in with my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, and I'm using the shade NC45, and I'm going to use that on the outer portion of her eyebrow, and then right underneath her arch I'm going to go in with NC42 for a more highlighted look underneath her brow bone. So you want to take this concealer and you want to drag it all the way down on her lid, because we are not doing an eyeshadow look. You want to just make sure you get a nice even coverage of this concealer on her eyelid before you set it, so everything is nice and smooth. Since I've concealed the bottom, I see that the brow is going to come out a little bit thinner than I would like it when I go to conceal the top. So I went ahead with my eyebrow pencil and just added a little bit more product to the top of her brow to make it a little bit fuller. So when I go to conceal it, it won't be too thin. For the top of her brows, I'm using NC45 alone, which is a little bit darker. It matches her skin tone more, and I just like to use a shade closer to the skin tone to shape out or sculpt out the top of the eyebrow. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side, and then I'm going to try to get the brows as even as possible. I'm going in with my Real Technique setting brush, and that concealer has been sitting on her skin for a little bit of time, so it's beginning to dry down. And now I'm just going to take this brush and press the concealer into her eyelid, and also blend the concealer into her skin above her brow. So before you set the eyelids with powder, you want to make sure that there is an even amount of concealer on the eyelids. If you look close to her lash line, you can see that there's some concealer missing. So I'm just going in and making sure that there's like a nice, good layer of that concealer before we go and set it, so we don't have to worry about it cracking, peeling, fading away while we're doing her makeup. So now I'm taking my setting powder from Luscious by Lynn Cosmetics, and I'm using the shade Butternut Beige, and I'm taking the same brush that we used to blend the concealer in, and I'm just pressing it into the concealer to set it. So now we're moving on to the next step, which is eyeliner. So you can do your eyeliner as thick or as thin as you please for this look. This is a look that I do quite often, and it really depends on the eye shape, the vibe, the girl, the day. I'll do the liner really, really thick, Nicki Minaj style. I'll do a medium style. So it really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's gonna look cute anyway. But I went for like more of a like medium liner today, and I'm just going to wing it out. So I'm just taking my time with the liner and just making sure that it's where I want it to be, if it's thick enough, if it's long enough. I do like to take concealer and bring it up to the edge of the eyeliner to sharpen anything up or to fix any mistake that I may have made, and then I just blend the concealer out. So now we're moving on to eyelashes. I'm using tweezers to apply the lash. I'm having her look down as opposed to her eyes being closed. That's my favorite way to apply the lash, and I just stick it on. I'm just making sure that the concealer is blended and dry around the eyeliner area. Moving on to her face, I'm taking my First Aid Beauty moisturizer, and I'm using that to moisturize her face. And then I'm taking my Estee Lauder Illuminate primer, and I'm going to use that to prime her skin. I'm going to make sure I really get that into the skin, and I'm going to press it and tap it into her skin to get the primer nice and tacky. Now I am taking Milk of Magnesia, and I'm taking this on a brush, and I'm going to apply a thin layer of this. So if you don't know why makeup artists use this, it just increases the longevity of the foundation in a nutshell. So I'm using NARS Radiance foundation, and I'm using the shade MACAO, which is like dead on her skin tone color. Like, this is her color. But then I'm going to go in with the foundation just a tad bit darker, because remember, we are going to highlight her skin, and that tends to brighten up the whole look, and I don't want my client to look ashy. And I'm using the Black Opal foundation in the shade Hazelnut. I'm going to take my NYX Steady Finishing Spray, and I'm going to spray her face down before taking my Real Techniques foundation brush in the Instapop and blending the foundation into her skin. I'm going to tap that foundation in. I'm not going to swipe, rub, swirl. You want to tap this foundation into the skin to really mesh and bind the foundation with your client's skin. You want the foundation to be one. And remember, and if you didn't know, on this channel we do full coverage, unless the video is titled like light makeup, light coverage makeup, medium coverage makeup. It ain't gonna be that, sis. We do full coverage over here. We don't do color correcting because it's full coverage. Everything is gonna look flawless even in one color when we're done. So if you don't want to use as much foundation as me, you don't have to, but just letting you know, sis, this is the full coverage girl over here. My clients are full coverage girls, and that's just what we do over here. So you don't have to use as much foundation. Maybe use one pump, maybe use 1.5 pump. It's all up to you, sis. It's all up to you. But I'm just showing what I do in my technique and how I get, you know, that smooth, flawless, full coverage finish every time. I'm also not speeding this up because I want you guys to see just how long it takes me to blend in the foundation. I want you to see, you know, the tempo and the speed of my hand movements, how I'm moving the brush around on the client's skin, and just how I'm taking my time to blend out her makeup. I do take my time when I'm doing my client's makeup. Of course, I work fast, but I take my time at the same time, you know, like I don't want to rush anything. And I want it to look like what they're paying for. So this look will usually take me 45 minutes to an hour, depending. So now I'm going in with my concealer. I'm using MAC's NC42, and I'm applying that underneath her eyes, chin, nose, and forehead. I am leaving some space directly underneath her eyes because we're going to go in with a brighter concealer, and this is the NARS Creamy Matte Concealer in the shade Caramel. And then to help it blend out better, we're going to go in with the concealer closer to her skin tone, which is the MAC NC45. We're just going to outline the concealer with it so that it just blends seamlessly. The foundation and concealer just, comes together nicely. So now I'm taking my beauty blender, because you guys ask me a lot, like, oh, you don't use beauty blenders, why don't you like beauty blenders? So I'm incorporating a beauty blender into this video so you guys can see, like, I do use a beauty blender and I like to use a blender. So I'm using it to blend out the concealer on her forehead, nose, and I also use it for the eyes as well. Just wanted to show you guys that you can achieve this look with a sponge too. You don't need to use the brushes like me. Alright, so I decided to add some concealer underneath her contour, her cheekbone, just because I wanted her contour to pop some. And I'm going to spray her face down again with the NYX Dewy Finish Spray. I start by blending the outside of the concealer out first. You want to blend that in, make sure it's meeting the foundation beautifully before you work your way up into the under eye, because how I conceal the under eye, the brighter color is always directly underneath. I don't want to have that color come down low. I want everything to be gradient, so we're going from dark to light underneath the eyes. And then I'm just taking my foundation brush to blend out the highlight underneath her cheekbone and also blend out any harsh edges that may be around her under eye highlight. Okay, now I'm going back in with the Real Technique setting brush, and this is what I usually would do when I blend out my concealer. I just wanted to show you guys a different way. You can use your sponge, but you're going to use the brush to press the concealer into the skin, and I always blend directly underneath the eyes. That piece of concealer, I always blend that in last so it can get nice and dried down, so it gives a more full coverage finish underneath the eyes. Once you have everything nice and blended, you're going to go ahead and set her under eyes. I'm taking the Luscious by Lynn setting powder in Butternut Beige. I'm taking my Beauty Blender sponge, and I'm going to first set her under eye. I'm going to press this powder into her skin to set the concealer in place. And then I'm going to take some extra powder and I'm going to use that to bake underneath her eyes, forehead, nose, and chin. Now I'm taking my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Deep Darkest, and I'm just pressing that powder into her skin to set her foundation before we move on to the contour and bronzer. So I'm going into the SHARAN 2 palette by JUVIAS Place, and I'm using the eyeshadow called Fez, which is a reddish brown, and I use that as my bronzer on most of my clients. Depending on their skin tone, it just gives like a nice warm look on the cheeks, and we going for a cheek today, honey. We going for heavy on the cheeks, okay? So for contour, I'm going into the Warrior 2 by Juvia's Place, and I'm using Yodit and Kufuru. I don't know if I'm saying it right, y'all. Don't come for me. But I'm using those two brown shades to contour her cheeks, forehead, and also the sides of her nose. But yeah, we going heavy on the cheek. I love, like, in the summertime. In the summertime, I just love a nice bronzy cheek, a nice bronzy forehead. Oof. It just looks so good, you know. It just looks so yummy. So we going heavy on the cheeks, okay? Now it's time to press the powder in. I'm taking the foundation brush, the same foundation brush that we used, and I'm just pressing that foundation into the skin. You just want to push it into the skin to make it disappear. It's going to leave everything seamless and velvety and beautiful. So that's what we're doing. So this is what her face is looking like so far. We're going to go ahead and add some blush to her skin. I am using a brush by FEMME, and I believe the name of it is Golden Sunset. And we're just going to sweep that on her cheeks to give her a nice flushed look. And again, I'm going to go in and spray her face with the NYX Dewy Spray. Then I'm going to take my brush and press the spray into the foundation. So now we're going back to the eyes. I'm going to pop some white into the waterline, which is not a necessary step. You could just go in with some mascara on the bottom lash line and it'll look cute. But I wanted to do it exactly how you guys see it. I was thinking about doing blue in the waterline, but I'm like, no, I'm going to do it exactly how you guys see it on my Instagram page. So all I did was smoke out the bottom lash line with eyeshadow. And now we're moving on to cheek highlight. I am using Glow Up Academy, which is my brand's highlighter in Glow Sis. And I just love this highlighter. Like, I'm sorry. Like, this is it, sis. So that's what I'm using to highlight her cheeks. And then I'm just going back in. I don't have any extra product on the blush brush. I'm just going back in to make sure that the blush is blending into the highlight nicely. And then I just use whatever's left on the highlighter brush and put it on her forehead, nose, and a little bit on the chin. Now we're going in to line the lips. I'm using MAC's lip liner in the shade Chestnut. And we're going to go in with a nude lip gloss by CoverGirl called Melted Toffee. And then on top of that, I go in with Oyster Girl by MAC. I'm just adding some mascara to her bottom lash line, also to her lashes as well. Yes, she look good. She looks so pretty. Okay, you guys. This is the completed look. The full rundown. This is how I achieve my signature natural beat look. I hope you guys really enjoyed this tutorial. I had a really good time filming it for you guys, and you know, I do listen to you guys when you ask me to film things. I pay attention, and you guys have been waiting for this video if you follow me on Instagram, so I really wanted to film it for you guys, and the next few videos is going to be based on what you guys asked me for. So yeah, yes, come through, eyeliner. So as you can see, before you saw like she had a little bit of discoloration, hyperpigmentation. You don't see that anymore, and we didn't color correct or anything like that. It's just all about the amount of product that you use and the technique that you use when applying the foundation. And you know, I have the cell phone footage for you, the low lighting technique that I do, that I talked about, where I don't use my ring lights or my studio lights. I just use regular hallway. I'm in my hallway. This is a new house and I'm in my hallway, so there's no special lighting in my old house. I'm in a new space and I just go away from the ring light. That's all you have to do, you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you learned at least one thing from this video, and I will catch you guys in the next tutorial. Bye.